I'm gonna commit. Let's do it. 10-minute long joke.
Oh, you're
Hit
gonna
me
commit?
up.
Oh
Yeah,
my
let's
goodness. Oh
go.
my god, I
Let's
love you.
go.
All right,
Let's do it.
let's do it. You're just going right here?
Yeah, it's
All right.
just right here, right
So-
now.
All right. So there's a small town in England, rural England, and the pride and joy of this town was the large cathedral that's right in the center of town. And it's actually quite well known for these bells that up in the bell tower that make just the most beautiful echoous sound throughout all the land. And it's really quite beautiful. But to the town's dismay, the old man who would stand up in the bell tower every Sunday for mass passed away. And a few days after holding the service of the funeral for this old man, the main priest was sitting in his study, just reading the Bible and praying and whatnot, when a young boy walks in. And the young boy, he's no older than, 15 or 16, and says, Father, please, I must tell you something. And the priest looks up from his studies and says, Oh, my dear boy, I didn't see you come in. Do I know you from somewhere? You look very familiar. And the young boy says, No, Father, I don't believe we've met before. And the father says, Oh, that's interesting. You look very, very familiar. But anyway, go on. What do you have to tell me, my young boy? And the boy says, Well, Father, I believe I'm being called to be the next person up in that bell tower. And the father, he's feeling happy for like the first time since that old man died. There's finally someone who is going to go back up into the tower and ring those bells, every Sunday mass. And so he's kind of ecstatic, and he says, Well, that's wonderful, my dear boy. And I'm so happy. And he kind of trails off for a second when he realizes that the young boy has no arms. and he gets kind of sad, thinking, Well, my dear boy, I'm so sorry, but how are you going to ring the bells? How are you going to pull on these ropes to ring the bells up in the bell tower? And so the young boy says, No, Father, believe me, I can do it. I can do this. Trust me. Please, let me go show you. And so the father says, All right, well, let's go up to the bell tower. I'm not sure how you're going to do this, but, we can go. And so they make their way up the steps to the bell tower. And, there's all these smaller bells around the outside, and the one large one right in the center that makes the most booming, echoous, wonderful sound in all the land. And so the father says, All right, well, I'm not entirely sure how you're going to do this, but let's go do what you're going to do. And so the young boy, he's very ecstatic. And, he takes a few steps back, gets into a running stance. He runs, jumps, and smacks his forehead right up on the bell. And it makes the most wonderful, echoous, booming sound that this priest has ever heard. It's beautiful. And
Oh, really?
the priest is just in awe. He's so astounded, but he has to wonder, my dear boy, are you hurt? Is your face okay? And the young boy says, Oh, I'm totally fine. Please, let me show you. I'll do it again. And so again, he hurriedly scurries off to the edge of the tower, gets into a running stance. He runs, jumps, and smacks his forehead right up against the bell. And once again, the most booming, echoous, beautiful sound. And after making sure a second time that the boy is all right, that he hasn't hurt himself, the father says, Well, all right, I do believe you'll be the next person to be up in the tower here every Sunday mass. And the young boy is just so ecstatic. And so they make plans for the young boy to come back the next Sunday. And so a few days pass, and it's Sunday morning, time for mass. And the young boy is making his way up the tower. As he's making his way up those steps, he looks out the windows and sees all the crowds, the townspeople coming in, getting ready for the service. And he's just so excited because this is what he feels like he's called to do. And so he gets up to the top of the bell tower with all the small bells and the one bell right in the middle. And he's so excited. And he closes his eyes in joy. And he backs up towards the edge of the tower, gets into a running stance, runs, trips on a rope that was lying haphazardly on the floor. He stumbles. He isn't able to catch himself because he doesn't have any arms, and he falls over the edge, crashing into the ground dead.
Oh.
The townspeople see this, of course, and they're just aghast. They see the young boy falling to his death, and they hurriedly rush over to see. Oh my goodness, how could this have happened? How could this have happened? You know, he's such a young boy. I mean, what happened? Was he pushed? And they begin to realize, well, he doesn't have any arms. I mean, he probably could have just fallen and tripped or something. This must be a terrible accident. And they start to think, this boy looks familiar. Like they've seen him around him somewhere. You know, like they've seen him around town. They start to ask each other, have you seen this young boy? Have you seen, you know, does he go to your school? Have you seen him around town? And finally, after hearing the splat of the young boy's body hitting the ground, the father comes out to see this horrendous sight. The young boy lying dead and the townspeople all crowded around him. And the townspeople come up to the father and say, Father, this is terrible. Did you know who this boy was? How can we alert his kin? How can we alert his parents? I mean, because he looks so familiar. And the father replies, well, I'm sorry. I never caught his name. But his face sure rang a bell.
Oh my god. Holy.
I love that one, Ritz. It's a good one. It's an oldie but a goodie. Okay.
Holy
Forget
shit.
Wait, you're tiny now.
All right, that was worth it. That was worth it.
Okay,
was-
thank you so much for sitting through that. Thank you.
That was good. I haven't heard that one before. That was pretty fantastic.
Hey,